$100 first lap free. We're going to give you guys some more cash. Are you guys ready?
But now it's time for me to head back and be a crate dog. Alyssa, you look faster than you've ever looked.
You look so fast.
Tour de Bloom has been epic. We are headed to the Tour de Bloom. 4 days of racing. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 stages, 4 days of racing. Probably going to be the hardest race I have done so far in my career. Stage 1 tomorrow is a gnarly stage, 65 miles, 10,000 feet of climbing. We'll go over the rest of the stages. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm riding for Autolock, guest riding for Autolock, but it'll be me and my buddy Ben that is riding for that team. More on that later. We had a full squad, but a lot of people weren't able to actually come through and make it. But you know what? Nevertheless, Ben and I are gonna have a blast. I'm so excited for this weekend. Let's get into it. Okay, also some super cool things about the Tour de Bloom. Alyssa gets to drive in the caravan, which means we need some race walkie-talkies, which we're testing right now because Ben is caravanning behind us in his truck because we have, you know, too many bikes and so much gear, so we couldn't all fit in one car. But we're testing how long these walkie-talkies last. We were gonna get really nice race ones, but they didn't come in time, so we grabbed these. And we are leaving them on the whole car right because we got like a 5-hour drive right now just to make sure the battery lasts for tomorrow. But basically what I'm getting at, Alyssa gets to yell at Ben and I pretty much this whole weekend and tell us up and whatnot. But we have one of these walkie-talkies in Ben's cars.
What up, campers?
That's his name for you guys. Comment down below if you like it, the campers, because you know, EJ's training camp. So we're just making the time pass as we go through another 5-hour drive. This is Alyssa and I's third 5-hour drive
in 3 days.
In 3 days. So been a lot of time in the car, but it is what it is. Worth it for the racing. Also, I don't know if you guys can see my phone screen, but Ben just texted me because I had to put out an announcement to Instagram for Autolock, basically giving a roster update because, like I said, it was 4 of us that were supposed to go, but then Coach Tyler bailed. But Ben just sent me a vlog of how he imagined the roster update was going to come out for me. So I'm going to roll that right here just to embarrass you, Ben.
Yo, 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 what's up, campers? It's Ethan Jones here, and I just wanted to give you a quick Tour de Bloom roster announcement update for the Autolock Elite Squad.
Okay, so after that, we still had quite a bit of time left in the car, and I took some of this time to have a call with Coach Tyler, breaking down the stage tomorrow, how I'm going to approach it and everything. And also comment down below if you want more Ben on the channel. He's honestly such a vibe and really, really fun to have around. But I'm going to cut in some of the call with Coach Tyler because I feel like you guys might be interested in his insight. And he has some really, really good advice for races like the one tomorrow, where it is a mountain stage and I'm not necessarily a climber, and how to approach that.
Like, that's going to be a 23K an hour climb, so you're going to be at least. So you're going to be drafted, you know? And so if you do it, so you're going to do that bottom lap, you know, you're going to be fine on a climb like that at the bottom. Like, I think that I would expect it to go hard directly because there's going to be no, you have to be a little bit aware. This is where it's hard when you don't have like a big team to help control something, but like it's going to be pretty aggressive, I suspect, with people trying to go in the breakaway and stuff like that, because there's not like a GC or a pecking order really, and there's no like true favorite team from what I can tell either. So that means this is going to be kind of hectic.
It's really cool to have someone like Coach Tyler in my corner. And if you guys don't know and you're new to this channel, I am being coached this year by Tyler Williams. He is a professional cyclist out of Northern California, where I'm from, in Santa Rosa, and he has been an absolute legend and a huge help for me to continue this journey as a competitive cyclist. Now, to round up our phone call, he basically just went over pinch points, some teams to watch out for, some people to watch out for, how to make a time cut effectively, because again, this isn't going to be, the first stage isn't going to be something that I'm targeting, because I'm definitely not a climber. I'm just trying to survive the stage. And he gave me some good tips to do that, about, if there's a bigger split, make sure I'm there, just to make sure I don't get caught off. And then to wrap up the conversation, he said, because we do 2.5 laps of the big circuit, he said, if I make it over with the front group 1 lap, I can basically pull the parachute and be totally fine to make it on the time cut for the last 2 laps. And that was really confidence inspiring going into tomorrow. And it was nice to have that advice. So thank you, Tyler. And after our phone call, there was only about an hour left of the drive. So let's get that over with. And before we knew it, that 5-hour drive was done, and we had arrived in Wenatchee, Washington. Also, Tour de Bloom has these really, really cool prizes for each stage. Stage 1 is this really cool belt that you see here. And then there's custom Oakleys, there's like a belt buckle, there's an axe, there's a custom cowboy hat. Yeah, it is all pretty cool. And the vibe already at this event was awesome. It was really fun to talk to all the other people in the P12, because the P12 was the only race that was doing the first mountaintop stage. And like I said, out here I am racing for Autolock with my buddy Ben. It is just the two of us. But what is Autolock, you might ask? Well, it is a lock company founded here in Portland, Oregon. They have an array of lock products, but one that I really, really like, honestly, was this cinch lock. You can see me using it here on my bike rack. It was perfect for an instance like this where we wanted to lock the bikes before we run inside to the bike shop and get packets and registration. It was really, really convenient. It's super lightweight. You can carry it on your ride if you want to. You can ask Alyssa, but I'm really bad about locking my bike and stuff like that. So this was a nice, convenient way to get that done. So I honestly thought it was really cool. And if you want to check out Autolock, you can use code EJSendTime on their website for 30% off your order. So go check them out. Make sure to grab an Autolock. And yeah, back to the vlog.
All right, teammate Ben, how are we feeling for tomorrow?
We're feeling. I think as good as we're gonna feel. I'll put it that way. A little nervous. It's gonna be a hard day, but should be good.
Perfect. We'll see you in the morning. It's race day. Got some couple things to clean up. Get the race radios ready. Make sure everything works. But we're ready to roll. How are we feeling today, Ben?
We're feeling great, fueling up, getting them carbs in. We're going up the Malaga, the Malaga something road race. Can't wait. EJ's gonna win it.
Oof.
He said, "Hey, dude, this is gonna come down. It's a pure sprinter's finish."
Totally not mountaintop at all.
Not mountaintop at all. No, I'm stoked. I'll stop doing the bit. Super stoked. Race day. It's gonna be a great week.
As I probably said in the voiceover, today is about time cut and survival for both of us.
About winning.
Well, Ben's a little delusional back there in the back seat. We both have agreed that today's a time cut day, which is actually kind of nice to start off the series that way. Not a ton of pressure on today. Feel out the field. This is the biggest field I've ever raced in. Tucson was only 120. This is 140. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Gonna be interesting. Let's get it.
And just like that, we were off on the first race of the Tour de Bloom. Like I said earlier in the video, it was really cool. You can see here Alyssa is in the caravan, which is kind of fun. We haven't had that before. So you do have to drop back to get feed from the cars and do all that stuff, which again is a whole, we kind of did it in Tahiti last year, but the motorcycles would come up to you. This, like going through a caravan, riding through a caravan, was completely new to me, but a really, really fun experience. And they had full road closure for this whole race, which was awesome. I love that. It's nice to have a little bit more room to move around. I was instantly comfortable in the pack because we just had so much space to move around. But let's hop onto the GoPro and get into how this race played out. Okay, so let's talk about teams. Who's here? Who are we watching out for? I mean, like I said, stage 1 is a little bit of a throwaway stage for Ben and I because it is just a pure climber stage. Now, they did adjust the stage. I'm going to put the actual Strava route up on the screen right now. Originally, they had us doing another like 6-mile climb at the end to make it like a really, really gnarly mountaintops finish, but instead, we did 4 laps of a bottom circuit and then 2.5 laps of a top circuit, meaning that we finished on the top of the climb. But okay, let's talk about teams. Who's out here chasing GC? Who's going to have really, effective dynamics? Who's going to be able to affect the race? Well, one being probably the biggest team out here is the Expediters. They're in blue right here. And their team leader, Kent Ross, was definitely on the GC hunt. They had about 7 or 8 guys. POA, another big team from the Portland area, Pacific Office Automation, had, I think, 7 guys as well. iSpeed Felt had quite a few guys. They are from the LA area. Toronto Hustle is a UCI team based out of Canada, also really, really strong. Fount Cycling was there, another very, very strong team. They had some good representation, I think 7 guys or so. Mike's Bikes brought a couple guys, including Iman Lucas, very, very strong sprinter in Northern California. So yeah, there were some good teams and some really, really good competition. Now, how did it play out? Well, for me, honestly, the bottom laps with that 3-minute climb weren't too bad. It was spicy like Coach Tyler had predicted. Like the 3-minute climb was definitely hard, but it was draftable. It was pretty easy to recover over the top. The downhill was fast. And then on the flat part, going back to the 3-minute climb, it really wasn't that spicy. So I think a lot of people were saving their legs for the back half of this race, which was perfect for me. I mean, a couple people tried to go up the road. There was a crash early on that created a little bit of separation, but everything did eventually come back together as we went into the big climb for the first time after doing the first 4 small laps. And honestly, once we hit that climb, it was pretty full gas. I'm going to pull up the stats here from me doing the climb the first time, because we had to do it 3 times, right? We had to do 2 laps of this big circuit, and then the final time that we climb, the finish is at the very top. So like I said earlier in this video, my strategy was to make time cut, right? I wanted to see if I could hang with the front group for the first part, or the first time that we did this climb. Oh boy, but that was going to be much easier said than done. And the first little kicker of the climb, you're going to see the average power right here. It was just like unsustainable. It was so freaking hard. Yeah, and that BPM is definitely not right. Just so you guys don't fight me in the comments down below. But yeah, the establishing part of this was tough because people were just sending flyers out the front, trying to establish gaps. All the climbers were going full gas, knowing they had like a 20 to 25 minute climb ahead of them, and just wanted to make everyone hurt. So it was a tough first time up the mountain, I gotta say, but the climb was a little bit easier than I thought because it wasn't steady the whole time. There were pitches, obviously, that were very, very sharp and aggressive, but it did kind of flatten out, and that really, really helps me on a climb. Something where it flattens out and I'm able to kind of come back to the group, recover for a second. That really, really helps. The steady, long climbs for 30 minutes plus is what will just absolutely blow me up. But I was able to settle in, kind of dangling off the back of the group, and here's my power numbers there for like the next 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I think was like 414 was the average power, but it went, there were some parts where I was resting and spiking above that. But I was able to settle in a little bit around that power. That's still like, high threshold for me, so that's still one hell of an effort. Definitely not something that's going to be repeatable. But again, the goal was to make it over with that top group for the first lap and then kind of settle in, save the legs for tomorrow, because I was really targeting Friday's stage. But I didn't want to just completely blow myself up knowing that, I just don't really have a good shot at top 10ing or even top 20ing this stage because of how gnarly it is and how fit for the climber this stage really is. But I was actually able to make it over the top, pouring out a pretty hard effort for the first climb with like dangling off the front group, which I will 110% take. It was like a shelled group. A lot of people were dropped at this point. I was pretty happy of this effort for the first climb, but again, we have to do it 2 more times. So I was like, okay, at this point, Tyler was right. I knew it was a matter of time before I got dropped, so might as well save the energy now and just ride the next 2 times at a high tempo to make sure that we make that time cut, but also not just completely shell myself and be in trouble for the stages to come. So that's exactly what I did, and I found a nice little group to work with on the flats, make sure that we kept tempo up the climbs, and it turned out to be a really, really fun and enjoyable race in stage. I actually do enjoy these climbing races, even if I'm not a climber, especially if there's other stages to do, because it is fun to just ride with people, chat, and enjoy the beautiful day that we had here in Wenatchee. Now, as for teammate Ben, unfortunately, the day did not go as well for him, but we will get into that in a second. How did the race play out? I'm sure you guys are curious. Well, drum roll, please. The name that I mentioned earlier from the Expediters, Kent Ross, absolutely dominated the field, and after this stage was a minute and some change up on GC. He just absolutely clobbered everyone. Guy is a freak and a beast. So shout out to you, Kent. He is now in the pink jersey, which is the Tour de Bloom's leader's jersey, going into stage 2. But let's hear how it played out for Ben.
Stage 1. I honestly thought it wasn't too bad. Okay, the stage was hard. I got completely dropped on the first climb. Like, if the goal of
You didn't
today...
get completely dropped.
I made it over the top with the front group on the first climb, and then continued to drop back spots until I think I was with probably won the final. Was that the Gruppetto? Yeah.
Yeah.
Until I was with the Gruppetto. But good day. I made the time cut. Happy with that. Now, Ben, tell your story as to what happened.
Yeah. So similar to EJ on the small circuit.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. There's some like sketchy wheels here and there, so you're going like, okay, do I need to move up, be back? But pretty manageable. Then we turned onto the bigger circuit, and pace definitely crept up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it's going to be hard. And then the fun began. So dropped my chain on the inside, hopped off, was super chill, didn't swear or anything like that. Got the chain back on, chased back onto the back, tried to like get my heart rate down, dropped the chain again. So yeah, pretty bummed out. I think that mentally took me completely out of the race. I was just like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
So moseyed my way up to the finish and called it, which is pretty lame. The predicament I'm in is waiting for the race director to tell me if I get I don't know what you call it, I guess, the broom wagon time, something like that, which is where they take the slowest finisher's time and then add 10 minutes to it. Mm-hmm. Or, if because I DNF'd, I am out of the race. Fingers crossed. We'll see. Yeah, I'm waiting on an email on that one.
It is a bit of a tough predicament, but overall, we're going to figure it out. That was a really fun stage 1. Very enjoyable out here at Tour de Bloom. And be sure to subscribe, because part 2 and part 3, which will be stage 2, which is tomorrow, will be a little bit flatter road race, something that both of us have a better chance of contesting than something like today.
Particularly the pure sprinter.
I don't know about all that. But, all right, thank you guys for being here. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.